Hi, I'm Dr. Stephen Gafanti. I was the medical director of an ADHD clinic and have myself ADHD. I help moms with active kids or active daydreamers to bring peace and healing to their hectic lives. Do you have a child who was an escape artist long before it was safe for him or her to go outside alone? Or how about a child who deliberately irritates his brothers and sisters but has no tolerance for being teased back? Does your child simply hate every second he spends in school? If you know your child has the talent to be extraordinary, if they would just cooperate with their teacher, their boss, or even you, then I can help. You see, even though I am a medical doctor today, I started out with all those problems. I was kicked off the school bus 3 months into kindergarten. By the end of my kindergarten year, my mom was told by the principal she was never to bring me back to that school again. My grammar school was a little different. By 7th grade, the nuns had had enough. And my mom, once again, listened to a litany of reasons I should be kicked out of school. A month before I was to graduate high school, I was expelled. And just in case you think medical school was any better, in my junior year, the dean of the College of Medicine brought me in to discuss my expulsion. Many asked, how did you manage to graduate medical school? I would have to say my parents were key. They were excellent in convincing the principal that I should stay, and while my teachers, principals, and I all thought I shouldn't go to school, my parents firmly disagreed. They saw the potential that none of us saw. In fact, I do this talk to help the parents with kids like me. My mom started worrying about me when I was 2 years old and figured out how to open the kitchen door and go outside. It wasn't that outside was so bad, but when I got tired, I fell asleep in the middle of the road. Mom locked the door. I pulled the drawers out and used them as steps to get on the counter and get the key. She gave up on the door and put a fence around the backyard. I went under, over, and through the fence. Eventually, we moved to a house on a dead-end dirt road. I am sure Mom mentioned to me that I should stay in the house, but I don't remember it. In fact, one of the hallmarks of my first 30 years was that I wouldn't listen. As Mom said, your sister, I would ask her to do something, she'd do it. Your brother, I would ask, and if I gave him a good reason for doing it, he would do it. You, I could ask, I could reason, I could beat you until my arm fell off. If you weren't going to do it, you wouldn't do it. The nuns thought that I was just a rebellious child who needed more discipline. But actually, I was extremely angry, and I didn't know it. Let me say that it made me very isolated. Who wants to be friends with an angry man who won't listen? Personally, I thought if they didn't want me to be angry, they shouldn't irritate me. What turned me around was my wife. We, of course, fought on our honeymoon. When we got home, she walked to the bookshelf and handed me a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and said, read this. I read it. I went to seminars. I went to counseling. I tried everything I could to be the husband my wife deserved. It was a long struggle of learning and healing. Last April, my wife and I celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary. Moreover, I don't fight with my boss, which really is the path to unemployment. If you look at the research today, you will see that I am ADHD with all its major complications: dyslexia, oppositional defiance disorder, and conduct disorder. Fortunately, I was born before the label became popular and I got placed on drugs. Why do I say fortunately? because one of the fundamental problems with these labels and the drugs that come with them is that they take away the incentive to change. Drugs do that chemically, and the labels do it psychologically. They create this old world mindset. I'm ODD. It's just the way I am. My label justifies my behavior. The drugs mellow me out and help me get by. Today, we can't afford to waste our children's lives just getting by, because they won't get by forever. In 2005, Oregon Health and Science University reviewed over 2,200 studies on ADHD and found no clear evidence that the drugs worked. They reviewed even more studies in 2009 with the exact same result. Clearly, the behavior remains, maybe less of it, but it remains, and the patients have lost all incentive to resolve their issues. Let's go beyond getting by and look beneath the label. When you do that, ODD is an angry child who doesn't know how to let his anger go. Great, let's teach him, because once he lets his anger go, 90% of his problems are gone. Or, I'm dyslexic, I can't read. Fine, you are a bright child. We will find a way to teach you to read. Or, I'm impulsive and get into accidents and the emergency rooms are very expensive. All these issues can be resolved, but it starts when you throw away the label and look at what's underneath. Let's start by looking at the label of ADHD. Here is the definition of ADHD. A, inattentive type. Does your child fail to give attention to details? Is it difficult for your child to sustain attention? Does your child seem not to listen? Does your child fail to follow through on instructions? Does your child have difficulty organizing tasks or activities? Does your child avoid, dislike, or is reluctant to engage in tasks requiring sustained mental effort? Does your child lose things necessary for tasks or activities? Is your child easily distracted by extraneous stimuli? Is your child forgetful in daily activities? Or the hyperactive type. Does your child fidget with hands or feet or squirm in his seat? Does your child leave his seat inappropriately? Does your child run about or climb excessively? Does your child have difficulty playing or engaging in leisure activities quietly? Is your child on the go or acts as if driven by a motor? Does your child blurt out answers before the question is completed? Does your child have difficulty waiting his turn? Does your child interrupt or intrude on others? When I first looked at this, I asked myself, what's wrong with climbing a tree or getting out of your seat? It is clear that these questions are very subjective. So let's look at the mindset of the people asking the questions. Psychiatrists who make their living talking prefer that modality of learning. Teachers tend to be visual learners. From both viewpoints, a hands-on learner would appear as a disorder because hands-on learners move when they learn. Now, let's assume that a non-hands-on learner, like my mom, is answering these questions. Mom, who never climbed a tree in all the years I knew her, would answer yes to all the questions in bold, plus quietly engaging in leisure activities. Whenever I was too quiet, Mom ran to see what I was doing. With 6 yeses in either category A or B, I would be diagnosed as ADHD. Is it possible that ADHD is simply a misunderstanding between people with different learning style preferences? As the classroom teacher is by far the #1 referrer of ADHD children, learning style can easily play an important role. Most teachers are visual learners. Visual learners want everything in their place and a place for everything. Too much clutter or visual chaos, and they can't think. In fact, visual learners will often clean up before they start a project. They expect students to sit still and look at them to listen. Anatomically, we listen with our ears, and we are capable of listening while we walk or bounce or roll around on the floor. Very few visual learners can handle that much visual chaos and stay focused on their lesson plan. This simple misunderstanding explains why I was sent to the principal's office so often in kindergarten. My teacher wanted me to take a nap on the floor. I wanted to take a nap rocking in the rocking chair. The auditory learner expects us to dialogue, answer questions with more than one word, develop our ideas by fleshing out the details. About half the hands-on learners simply don't talk that much. All those words just confuse us. Once you understand how learning style preferences develop, you will see why dyslexia and ODD are common complications to ADHD and how to overcome them. You also learn how to get cooperation from your child, and the good news is that you don't have to take 30 years looking for solutions. I will take you through step by step and leave you with a framework that will help you when your child comes up with something not on the list. The first step is to know that, like IQ, which is the speed that we learn, learning style preference is genetic. It is most likely evenly distributed in a three-dimensional bell-shaped curve as illustrated. Those people on the top of the hill have no learning style preference at all. They are easy to teach because they have the flexibility to learn in any modality. As you come down the hill, your brain specializes in one learning style over the other. The left are auditory learners, the right are visual learners, and coming straight at you are the hands-on learners or the kinesthetic learners. You have met these kids in school. The jocks are hands-on learners. The nerds are visual learners who do better in math and sciences, and the auditory learners do better in language arts. They do better in those subjects because those subjects are taught in their learning style preference. Half of the population on the right side of the line marked K will prefer visual learning over auditory learning. They will be hands-on first, visual second, and auditory dead last. The strength of people who learn through talking is their relationship skills. As the brain shifts away from these learning styles, the person doesn't develop these skills. As a result, the low auditory will tend to have poor relationship skills with self, with siblings, friends, and parents. This is the source of the ODD label. It is also the source of dyslexia. I go into greater depth on my website, ADHD or activechild.com, or in my books than I have time for right now. But now that you know the source of these problems, the solution is to laser in on the experiences the child needs to develop these relationship skills, and at the same time to motivate him or her to change. Seem complicated? It's not. It starts with avoiding the most common mistake, assuming that your family members learn just like you do. If you want to take that first step and find out the truth for you and your family, go to howtolearn.com and take the Learning Styles Inventory Test. Have your spouse and your children take it and send the results to me by blogging under this video on my ADHD or activechild.com site. Let's take this journey together.